Hi y'all. This is our part 3. No intentions of it going more than that, but let's see how much I can cover in this segment. So yes, now we welcome in season 10 of American Horror Story. Made its premiere on August 25th, and it is our American Horror Story double feature. From what I gather, the information I've researched, it's gonna be split, divided into two parts. So we're getting double trouble, and I believe it has its title too. So the first half of the season will be titled Red Tide, which takes place by the sea, and Death Valley, which takes place by the sand. Now, I just want to make a note that we have some beloved characters coming back. Frances Conroy, she's playing, hold on, our precious Belle Noire. Belle Noire, played by Frances Conway, is introduced in the Red Tide. And I'm reading this. You can Google this as well. Just some background on the characters. Is introduced in Red Tide as a best-selling erotica author. She typically associates with Austen and meets with Finn Wittrock's writer character Harry. So we have her, and if you remember her from Coven with that big, luscious red hair, she is back. Evan Peters is back, and he's also playing her sidekick. Hold on. Evan Peters is playing Austin Summers, holding the same stature in American Horror Story lore as Sarah Paulson. Sarah Paulson is back, but you know she's beloved, so we'll get to her. Fans are equally excited for Evan Peters to return to American Horror Story double feature after not returning for 1984. That was heartbreaking, to be perfectly honest, because I love and I look out for those two in particular, Evan Peters and Sarah Paulson. But yes, he is playing Bella Noir's sidekick, and we're in for some twists and turns, especially with this. I believe is episode 4. Their backstory of how they were led into what I'm about to get into. So we have the return of these characters. Sarah Paulson too is playing tuberculosis Karen. Why? I feel like it's a way of like poking at the things that become trendy online, right, Karen? Um, I can see Billy Lord is coming back. And one second, Dennis O'Hare. I mean, I'm telling you that he hasn't been in every season, but when he does make his little introduction, and it's never little by no means, he is such a talented actor, and he contributes to every season. I mean, I've been a fan since True Blood, and I believe I've seen his work previous, but I think what stood out for me has always been True Blood. But nonetheless, seeing him back for season 10 also is a delight. We also have Leslie Grossman, which let's just admit it. She has been doing the damn thing for the last couple of seasons, and she just plays that. And again, that goes into why I'm dressed the way I am. I very much Ursula hair. But she just has that like knack for that nasty, awful bitch. But nonetheless, she gets shit done. So that's why I appreciate her characters in all of American Horror Story fandom. And yes, we have Lily Rabe, our Misty Day, and I've been missing her too because I feel like, oh my god, the first few seasons, aside from Jessica Lange, she was a staple like Sarah Paulson. So they're all coming back for this season, and what a season. Like, so we have the characters. We have the oh so gorgeous Finn Wittrock as Harry Gardner, and we've seen him in freak show and hotel. Beautiful, gorgeous man. Anyway, anyway, he's playing Harry Gardner, a writer who moves to Provincetown for the winter with his wife and daughter, played by Lily, and the child actor is new to the series. His writer's block becomes sinister in the new beach town, which makes sense considering Whitrock used The Shining's Jack Torrance as an inspiration. After making his chilling debut in the American Horror Story Freak Show as Dandy, see, Mott Finn, yes, Dandy Mott. Finn Whitrock has been a consistent presence in the series' subsequent seasons. So he's playing this writer who's married to. She's an interior decorator, but for Instagram. I mean, she is up to hire. The woman does have talent, but because again, a lot of people are discovered, if you can say discovered online, they are typically not taken seriously. You know, it's just somebody with an extra hobby or, you know, artistic hobby. So Lily Rabe is playing Doris Gardner, and she's pregnant in this at least the first few episodes. For some reason, they moved to this town so that he can feel inspired, very much like The Shining, and they bring their daughter. The husband is a brilliant writer and has some kind of traction going on with his career, but yeah, he needs to feel inspired. She gives him the space. They do some kind of trade-off with wherever they're staying, with in exchange that she will decorate the home and he gets a place to write, and their daughter, who is an aspiring professional musician, who I'm sure is aspiring for Juilliard at one point, at some future point, is constantly on her violinist in training. And though I gotta say, though, they casted this character brilliantly, because the child is very much Children of the Corn creepy. So, you know, she's very, she wants to become that. She's goal oriented. She's a protege. She is going to be that violinist that, people spend millions to go see. So she's constantly practicing to the point where it's getting annoying, because daddy needs to write. So nonetheless, they are able to he gets in some kind of funk where he can't seem to feel inspired, and the wife is starting to feel a little on the sick side, but she's past her first trimester, so she's getting sick. They're also kind of they're starting to notice the locals, and not in like a good way. Aside from the local druggie, the meth head, which is played by Sarah Paulson, and also I guess local prostitutes played by Macaulay Culkin. We see Macaulay Culkin while as an adult, and he's doing a great job, phenomenal job in these last 3 episodes. There's these like pale people that just walk around harassing people, looking like they're about to like feed on you. So all of this is tying into probably Doris's depression, or she's succumbing to something because she's feeling very ill in her stay. So trying to kind of decompress, they want to do a date night, but she gets sick in the middle of it, and she encourages her husband. Doris encourages her husband to go to the local restaurant, which is called, of all things, Muse. So it's there that he meets Austin Summers and Bella Noir, and they're famous in their own right? Erotica playwrights, erotica writer, author, and playwright. But they're on their off time, they want to do karaoke. So they're introduced to our main character, and they all have that in common, that they use this particular place in Provincetown to feel inspired to write. And they have done very well for themselves because they've won Tonys, they've won, accolades for their work. And he's just, trying to, he's scratching bare minimum, but he's just like trying to reach that brass ring that they have. So moving forward, he's still very much in a funk, and then now they're being harassed by those pale people, almost to the point where they're feeling, in danger. So they call the local deputy, who just kind of equates their confrontations with these people, other than, they must be on something. It's an opioid problem that they're having, but pretty much it's a very quiet town. It's a very safe town. But our main character is not convinced by that. Harry Gardner is not convinced by that, and by their last attack, because there's an episode where Doris and Alma, his wife and daughter, are walking in a cemetery for some particular odd reason, perhaps because this is close by, in the middle of the daylight. No, I'm sorry, in the middle of the day, and then they're met with this pale person harassing them to the point where they felt that they were in danger. They run home, they call the cops, they're like, you know what, we're done, let's wrap it up, let's just get out of here, this is not worth it. And then in leaving, he gets a call from Evan Peters' character, and he says, look, I have Austin Summers, he has a cure for the writer's block, come to my house. He's already an eccentric character, we can tell, and very sarcastic, and gives him like a baggie of like black pills and says, look, this will cure it, you will become more famous than I don't know what, trust me, you're not gonna regret it. And he's like, what is this math, what is this, like, he's hesitant, but he's so desperate. He also doesn't want to lose whatever prospects he has. I mean, he was sent there with the purpose of fulfilling and finishing a pilot so he can get it sold. So he's like, F it, let me just do it. Takes a pill, and then all of a sudden it's like his eyes like bulge, they retract. Something happens to his biochemistry of his own body, and then before you know it, the man is plugged into his laptop, writing, and in like 4 hours he's able to complete a whole full pilot. And it's just constant work, to the point where he even neglects eating. His wife notices something's up, because it's like, I know you've been inspired, but this is a little odd even for you. So now their desire of leaving now gets sidetracked, and so he's just inspired, and she doesn't want to mess with that, 'cause she knows, being an artist herself, she doesn't want to mess with his inspiration. And then, but the child did notice that he took a black pill, and all of a sudden he started acting really different. So basically what we're introduced to, that's the introduction to this season. But then we realize that those black pills have a consequence. The black pills are tied to something where it makes you bloodthirsty. So I believe we're getting introduced to some form of like vampires. And so our Austin Summers and Bella Noir are already veterans of this pill, and they're accustomed to feeding off of people that they consider undesirables, and people won't look for them. And they even get like special teeth put in, and the character who does that is our Billy Lord character, and she makes these razor sharp teeth, so when you go to feed, it's a lot quicker. So moving into the last episode, we are introduced to our famous chemist, played by Angelica Ross. If you know her from Pose, you already know what it is. And not for nothing, this is where we're questioning, like, and that's why I've also picked this color. It's kind of very sea reminiscent. Her doorstop, or door knocker, is of a mermaid. So this is where, I don't know if they're going to make mentions of a sea siren, which I believe that's what they've been saying, that perhaps this is what this chemist is. We don't know if it's going to go in the supernatural spectrum, sci-fi for this season. And we're also introduced to Leslie Grossman's Ursula, which I thought was funny. Ursula kind of reminds you of the Little Mermaid. Ursula from the sea. And she's our main character's agent, and she herself is curious, like, what the hell exactly is happening in this town that is churning out so much talent? Like, something's there. And when she finds out it's the pill, she wants the chemist to work, or she wants to co-work with her, be a cohort. I can't say the word. But she definitely wants her hands on those pills, and she would love to churn these pills out so she can have like a whole production of like a whole batch of like writers making millions of dollars. And obviously she would cut the chemist her cut, but the chemist is not interested. So if she's not interested in money, then what is the initiative? What is the push behind these pills? And that's what we're going to get into with episode 4. So I'm very curious. I really recommend this season. This is just, and I'm really curious how it's going to tie all seasons, because everything is loosely tied to each other, and we can already see instances of Hotel, the bloodthirst, the blood virus. In these instances, we're dealing with maybe some kind of vampire sea monster. I don't know, but I am curious to see what happens this season. And you can stream it now on Hulu. Again, if you like my reviews, give us a like, comment below. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification button for my next upload. But I'm going to be getting into another review soon, shortly, and definitely my movie night, which I incredibly enjoyed. It was for Candyman, so stay tuned for that review. Until my next upload, XOXO, Nerdy Girl. I'm loving it. I'm loving this whole set. I look like Ursula, right? Anyway, stay tuned for the next